Hello everyone and welcome back to the Silicon Nubian YouTube channel where we're all about things tech. Today we're going to have a look at another distribution, if I can call it that. This is Maui Linux version 1706, also known as Cuba Libre, or in French Libre. It's based on KDE Neon, but what is KDE Neon? KDE Neon is actually a rapidly growing repository. What it really is a showcase of the latest and greatest in KDE Plasma desktop and KDE utilities and software. It's based upon a solid foundation, which is the latest Ubuntu LTS release, which I believe is 16.04. And what Maui brings to the table, as opposed to straight KDE Neon, is that KDE Neon itself, being a showcase for the Plasma desktop, doesn't come really loaded with a lot of additional software outside of what's supplied in KDE. What Maui does is they package it a little bit more intense in terms of software selection. You have more software to choose from, and consequently it aims to have a better out-of-box experience while still showcasing the latest KDE Plasma technologies. It was released in August 2016 as a continuation of Netrunner's Kubuntu-based desktop edition, but it was rebased upon KDE Neon, which is definitely a more cutting-edge project. It has frequent updates and is a semi-rolling release model. Besides providing KDE-centric distribution with many popular KDE packages included, it also integrates non-KDE software, which Neon does not. So Maui integrates stuff such as Firefox, Thunderbird, and a few other things, and has a few extra slick tricks up its sleeve. For example, the default media player is SM Player, which I appreciate quite a bit. Has a lot of support for skins and whatnot. And also, their goal is to provide a very stable user experience with the option of having ongoing software updates of KDE Plasma Desktop, and of course, it's also the KDE software. Therefore, what they want to do is to provide the KDE Neon packages as part of a rolling backports. Basically in an effort to allow users the option of keeping things cutting edge if they wish to do so. And there's a whole process if you want to upgrade or take advantage of this backports option, and it's quite simple to do. You just activate those repositories in the package installer. So let's get started. This is the default desktop after installation. Maui Cuba Libre 17.06. For a distribution that hasn't been out that long, it's quite pleasant to look at. Again, it's built upon the latest and greatest in Plasma desktop functionality. So let's look at what we have here. Here we have a desktop. The background I'm not the fan of, but it's Linux. You can change that in a second. With three icons on the desktop. The README icon, which gives you a big blurb about Maui 1706, issues and recommendations, language translations, tips and hints, Samba, how to add a network drive and whatnot. Not very extensive, but it's there, and you can go directly to the forums as this is in a web browser. And you'll notice that the web browser of choice is Mozilla Firefox, the one that ships. And we have Firefox version 56, 64-bit version. Mozilla Firefox for Ubuntu is here, so that's great. We have network, so you can get started right away on adding network drives. And we can see that the file manager is Dolphin. The version, we'll get to that in a second. The version is 17.04.2, quite recent. Dolphin is a very full-featured file manager, and actually I enjoy working with it. I do have to make a disclaimer. I'm not a user of KDE. I prefer smaller, slimmer desktops like LXDE or XFCE or even Cinnamon, but I do appreciate what KDE brings to the table and GNOME as well. So let's continue. We have the My Computer, which is really just a blurb on your machine, giving you basically system information. And here we can see we're running KDE Plasma version 5.10.2, KDE Apps version 1704.2, frameworks 5.35.0 and whatnot. You can see it right there. Look at the hardware we're running on, and OpenGL and for graphics as well. So not much to speak about here. And there's a link to the website. So let's take a look at the desktop, shall we? Right here, we have, we can drop down to a command line quite easily, a shell. We have the speaker icon, which of course, left-clicking once. Very, very pretty. That's one thing about KDE Plasma. It really makes your PC look really nice. That I have to admit. When it comes to eye candy, they got it. So we have the mic, speakers, everything is nicely configured. Right-clicking on it will give us, of course, the different mixers. We have both Pulse Audio and we have the good old ALSA mixer. Okay, and we have panel options, of course. Here's networking. And we see that we have a wired connection that we are connected to. We can enter an airplane mode and other modes as well if you happen to be using this distribution on a portable device, a laptop. Right-clicking, we can configure network connections, and that's all part of the settings manager, which we will see very shortly. Here we have status and notifications, K-Organizer, battery and brightness, printers, KDE Connect, device notifier, clipboard. And here we have the clock. Clicking left once brings up our calendar. Clicking right, we can set time format, adjust date and time and whatnot. Here we have notifications. And here we can add widgets and whatnot. We have settings for that. Right-clicking anywhere on an empty desktop, you can create a new folder. What we've seen before in many other graphic user interfaces. We can refresh the desktop, add widgets. One of the big things of KDE Plasma is the availability of tons of widgets, whether it be a clock, a calendar, a reminder, sticky notes, whatever, they're available. We can add a panel if we want. We can lock the widgets. We can configure the desktop. And this is all part of that thing. I'll show you how quick it goes right away. Very nicely done. Kind of a nice Cuba theme here, which is definitely what it is. And it's great. Looks good. There we go. I like how it just fades in. Very nice. Works really well. So we can also change mouse actions. Okay. We can change the location, show the desktop folder, yes or no. Desktop is a folder in Plasma. Show files linked, show a place, home, specify a folder. We can arrange the icons. We have filter, and there's the tweaks button. Show the desktop toolbox, press and hold widgets and whatnot. We have a lot of selection. KDE Plasma is one of the heaviest in terms of features. I think that it and GNOME really battle it out in terms of features, but I might give KDE a little bit of an edge in terms of the number of features. Okay, let's continue. So we've seen the file manager. We've seen that it is Dolphin. We've seen the KDE version. I just like Dolphin. I like the presentation. So clicking once on right-clicking again will give you not much. We have alternatives, panel options, and whatnot. Let's go to the program menu. This is interesting because this is very GNOME-esque. Looks like GNOME. You can go to either widgets and add widgets. Here I just added a clock. for example, or I can go to programs. Let's go to SysGuard. We can see that as we're using the system now with no real windows open except for the system monitor, we are using 732 megs of memory. This, of course, will go up as we open up applications and whatnot, but I still consider this to be pretty good. Most definitely. We do have some CPU action going on and off. Different things are running. But other than that, that's KDE for you. Definitely for systems that are a little bit more modern than, let's say, LXDE or XFCE. We have, as I had mentioned before, Maui builds upon KDE Neon by making a better or more complete out-of-box experience, and we're going to see that with everything that's been installed. We have favorites, Focal Screen, Synaptic Package Manager, the tried and true. It is here. And by the way, there is an update manager that will tell you in notifications if you have updates. And here we have the tried and true Synaptic Package Manager. Let's continue. We have Grub Customization, Update Manager is there. SM Player, that's the default media player. And I like the choice. If I wasn't going to go for VLC, this is probably one of the better ones as well. It is skinnable, has a lot of options, plays a lot of different files. I'm happy with that. And these are, VirtualBox is included by default. And we have Krita, which is more like a paint on steroids kind of thing. So if that's what you like, it's included. Some really nice applications here. So there was a recent apps. Let's go into recent documents. Nothing really there. We have all applications, and then we have categorize. So let's go through categorize. There are a number of games installed. If you've watched a few of my other videos, you know that that's not something that really thrills me per se, but Steam is installed, which is great. Graphics, we have GIMP, Gwenview, Inkscape, Krita again, as we saw in Scanlight, scanning documents. Internet, we have Firefox, IM Contacts, Thunderbird is here, Transmission, Skype, everything you might need. Multimedia, Audacious, Gmusic Browser, Handbrake is here. And we have a few other ones. KDE and Live. Video editor, we have SM Player, Pulse Audio Volume, and whatnot. Office, LibreOffice Suite is included by default with Maui. Settings, we have Grub Customization. And we can do certain things here. So we can change the appearance setting, list configuration, what selections we have under Grub, default entry, and appearance settings. We can set even a custom resolution if we wish for Grub. So that's pretty good. Okay, settings. Okay, Windows wireless drivers, VirtualBox again, Update Manager. We saw that. Console is here. Right now we're running Linux kernel version 4.10.0-37 generic. So generic Windows kernel is running. Let's keep KDE Wallet, of course, is there. And all that. Utilities, we have ISO image writer. So you can get it the way you like it and create an ISO image of your installation. That's pretty good. Love that. K3B. Calc, Ocular, Spectacle, power sessions for shutdown and whatnot. So let's look into the settings manager, system settings. This we've seen before in different distributions, yet it changes, it seems, all the time, depending on what the developers have included as options. Sort of account details, which is, where I'm at, accessibility, KDE Wallet and whatnot. We can go back to online accounts, workspace behavior, desktop appearance. I'm not going to name all of them. You can see them in front of you. Startup and shutdown, notifications, system D, file associations, which is always good. So you can set what opens up when you click whatever, dependent upon, of course, the extension or the type of file it is. Here we have the display and screen locking, lock screen, we have gamma. We can do a lot of different things. Again, part of the heaviness, quote unquote, of KDE Plasma is everything it gives you in terms of control. and all the GUI experience. And we're seeing that here for sure. Audio, we have network settings that we saw before. Printers, click to add a printer, and we can get in there. It's looking, we can look for a printer and we can add it quite simply. Multimedia power management, driver manager, KDE Connect and sync your devices, and removable storage. And then we have Plasma services that we could turn on and off according to our needs. About system, which pulls up again the system information screen. And we have other, where we have a lot of network settings, proxy, connection, serve preferences, all the way SSL preferences, window behavior, launch, feedback, browser identification, spell checker, and we have activities. It's just a lot of stuff you can do here. Now, who is Maui for? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. The out-of-box experience for Maui is actually pretty good. It is beaten by a few other distributions. For example, for friendliness, for example, installing software in Maui, you're going to have to go to Synaptic Package Manager. As far as I can see, I don't see any other way to to have packages installed. If we go to System Utilities, there is no App Store or very graphical package store like some of the Ubuntu distributions have. But that's not a big thing. So Maui right away is not for, I would say, someone who's rank and file new, rank completely green into Linux. It is a showcase for Plasma. That's what it's really for. But the developers of Maui, as opposed to KDE Neon, have taken the time to add the necessary applications to have a much richer out-of-box experience, install and get started right away. If you are even moderately experienced in Linux, this is something you got to check out. I think Maui is a good run. You can always just install KDE Neon and build it up to be as functional or look like Maui with respect to look, feel, and application selection. But Maui takes that headache and just basically does it for you. The selection of software seems pretty good to me. Performance is definitely less than, let's say, LXDE. Manjaro LXDE runs circles around this. Not to say that Maui is slow, but it is running the latest Plasma desktop. Definitely heavier on system resources than let's say LXDE by far, or XFCE, or even Cinnamon. But that being said, you're getting a much richer desktop experience in some ways. And if that's what's for you, I think it's a good choice. It's something definitely to take a look at. Would I install this on a production machine? I'm not sure. It is running Ubuntu LTS underneath all of this. And to be honest with you, being Linux, you could probably go and install a different graphical environment. It's up to you. This is a showcase distribution. It's actually quite nice. I like the semi-rolling release model that it follows. Definitely the developers are very much concerned about stability, and that's a great thing. It looks beautiful, easy to change, easy to configure. If you have a system that's relatively recent, I'm saying within the last 4 years or so, this is something that I would definitely look at as a beautiful desktop system. It really is a showcase, really nice. Plasma looks beautiful, very configurable. We can change the complete look of this with very little effort. So that's pretty much it. Maui is something you should take a look at. It's not rated very high on DistroWatch, but then again, I understand why. It's based on KDE Neon. It's only been out since 2016, and it's just an extension or taking KDE Neon to a different level. And I like what they've done. It does follow in the footsteps of Netrunner, which was always another kind of heavy, but sort of nicely done distribution. And if this is your thing, give it a try. The great thing about Linux, you could always give it a try. That's the quick look at KDE Showcase distribution. Maui Linux version 1706, Cuba Libre. Based on KDE Neon, uses Ubuntu LTS as its core, so you have a solid core, and a few other things you can look at. Let's just quickly check something out here. Before we go, I'm just going to start up Synaptic Package Manager and look at this. Okay, main restricted. I'm looking at what repositories are available. Main, deb. Very nice. Okay. This thing just works, folks. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. Give it a try. All these Linux distributions, I'm not going to waste your time and tell you, oh, this is it, this is it. No, this is not it. It'll fit some people it won't. I do give it a thumbs up. I think it's something to definitely consider. So if you enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave some comments, check us out at PC Construction Zone if you're into building, modifying PCs as well as computer hardware. And we have a few other groups that we're actively supporting on Facebook, and I will leave the links below this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.